In the following section, you will learn about orders, backlog, and revenue recognition. An order is an indicator of future revenue and an overall economic indicator. There are 8 GE orders criteria, as displayed above. The first is a signed contract, PO, or a letter of intent that has been received. The second requirement is that the scope of work or your work schedule has been defined. The third order criteria is that delivery schedule is in place. Fourth is that price is fixed or determinable by contract terms. The fifth is that terms and conditions are defined. Sixth is risk review, financing, and mitigation requirements have been fulfilled. The seventh criteria is that customer acceptance process has been complete. And the eighth is that probability of cancellation is remote. Backlog are all orders and/or commitments that have yet to be converted into revenue. There are 3 types of backlog. The first is equipment, which are all unfulfilled, long-cycle equipment and flow orders that have yet to be converted into revenue. The second are contractual service agreements, or CSAs, which are full contract value of all CSA contracts that have yet to be converted to revenue. And the third type are service billable in 1 year, which are the portion of services, both CSA and non-CSA, that will convert to revenue in the succeeding 12 months. What you see above is a backlog walk and how to calculate your ending backlog. You begin with your beginning backlog, add new orders, take out intercompany, external revenue, and cancellations, plus or minus any adjustments to get your ending backlog. Revenue recognition is the financial representation of the benefits gained from ongoing activities or sales of goods and services in the financial statements. It is one of the most important metrics that stakeholders use to determine financial health and value to the business. As displayed, there are 5 types of revenue recognition models and associated rules relating to them. The first is equipment or product, commonly referred to as ASC 60510 or SAB 104. SAB 104 applies to sales of goods produced in standard manufacturing operation. Revenue is triggered upon complete transfer to the buyer of risks and rewards of ownership, title transfer, or risk of loss. Under SAB 104, 4 criteria determine when revenue may be recognized. The first is persuasive evidence of the arrangement must exist. This means that the contract has been agreed upon by both parties. The second criteria is that delivery has occurred or services has been rendered. This means that contractual obligations are complete, title has been transferred, and risk of loss has been passed to the buyer. The third criteria is that a seller's price is fixed or determinable. No further anticipated challenge to the selling price. This must be true for all parts of the contract, both delivered and undelivered. The fourth criteria is collectibility is reasonably assured. The buyer has the intention and the ability to make agreed upon payments. The next type of order is equipment products with significant customization, or ASC 60535 or 811 contracts. 811 applies to contracts for construction or significant customization that is not held as inventory or used for other customers. Revenue is triggered on measure of performance in the amount of revenue recognized based on costs incurred and a levelized margin. There are 2 basic methods of accounting. Percentage of completion, where revenue is recorded as work progresses, or completed contract method, where all revenue recorded upon completion. POC, or percentage of completion, depends on the ability to make estimates. There are a number of methods used to measure the extent of progress toward completion. Examples include input methods, such as cost to cost, or output methods, such as units of delivery. Determining which method is appropriate requires judgment to ensure that the measure best reflects the economics of the arrangement. The third type are extended warranty or product maintenance contracts. In product maintenance or extended warranty agreements, customers transfer the financial risk of maintenance, and revenue is recognized straight line or proportion to costs. The fourth type of contract is software, which are agreements for the licensing, selling, leasing, or other marketing of software, including software-related elements such as upgrades or enhancements, post-contract customer support, and software services. The process to recognize revenue includes identifying software deliverables and allocating consideration to the various elements based on vendor-specific evidence, or VSOE of fair value, regardless of separate prices stated in the contract for each element. The last are multiple element arrangements. GE offers multiple solutions to meet customer needs. These solutions may involve multiple products, services, and the rights to use assets or any combination thereof. Steps for evaluating the arrangement include: first, defining the arrangement; second, identifying the deliverables; third, separating the deliverables; and finally, allocating the sales price. Now that you've learned about orders, backlog, and revenue recognition, below are some revenue recognition common practical issues or things to watch out for. The first are terms and conditions. GE must have an arrangement in place, generally a contract, to recognize an order and revenue. Side agreements, letters, emails outside of the contract, verbal or nonverbal, impact the arrangement's T's and C's and should be avoided. All terms should be documented in the contract. The second thing to watch out for is the right of return. If GE sells a product to a customer with a right of return, GE must determine if revenue can be recognized or must be deferred until the right of return lapses. The third thing to look out for is title transfer or risk of loss and associated terms. Revenue cannot be recognized until goods have been delivered to the customer. Per GE GAAP, there is a general presumption that revenue should not be recognized prior to the physical delivery of the goods to the final destination of the customer. The contract title risk of loss terms, commonly referred to as Incoterms, state when the title or risk passed legally from GE to the customer. The fourth thing to look out for are rebates. Similar to a right of return, a rebate offered to a customer may make the selling price not fixed or determinable. When rebates are given, GE must be able to make reliable estimates of the usage in order to record revenue. The last thing is around cash and revenue. Revenue is not cash collected from a customer. The revenue requirements must be met in order to recognize revenue. Non-refundable fees are not revenue if requirements are not met.